And today my guest is the founder of the nonprofit A Light After 9, Rachell Dumas. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Rosa. Thank you for pronouncing my name correctly.
So tell us about A Light After 9 and what inspired you to create your own nonprofit.
Absolutely. So I've had a pretty traumatic pregnancy journey, which started in 2018 while I had my first loss. It was an early loss. The OBGYN told me that I'll go on to have a smooth pregnancy journey because it's just a part of the journey. And that was not true at all. I got pregnant again in 2020 with twins. I lost the first one and was told I had vanishing twin syndrome. And then I lost the second one the day of my gender reveal. I went to the bathroom and the baby just fell out of me. Yeah, that commenced a very traumatic, like I said, pregnancy journey with loss after loss, a lot of early losses. In 2021, I started to see a reproductive endocrinologist, a reproductive geneticist, and they helped me get past the first trimester again by prescribing different hormones and just keeping up with me every week, a lot of office visits. I was also told that I had cervical insufficiency, which is that my cervix is too weak to hold a baby. So once the baby gets heavy enough, my cervix will open and the baby will fall out. So the cure to that is a cerclage, which is a suture around the cervix to keep it in. I would get that 13 weeks if I can make it that far. 2021, I did make it that far. I got the surgery. Unfortunately, it failed. I learned that at my 20-week appointment, 7 weeks later after getting the procedure. And I flew to Texas to try to save that baby. The surgeon flew me out, said he could do a transabdominal cerclage above that cerclage. He did have a history of saving pregnancies that way and saved twins at 20 weeks, and I was very hopeful. When I got out of the OR, I was surrounded by healthcare professionals cheering me on, saying we made it, we were pregnant. Unfortunately, I went into labor, and I labored for 30 hours in spite of all the medications that they gave me. My water broke, and I had to go back to the OR and deliver that baby. And I lost that baby at almost 21 weeks. The doctor promised to bring me back to Texas and put that cerclage back in out of pregnancy, fully funded. And he did stay true to his word that November. Brought me back, put the cerclage in. I had some losses in between, early losses. But May 2022, I was pregnant again, saw a reproductive endocrinologist. Second trimester, graduated to the maternal fetal specialist. That cerclage held up. And December 2022, I gave birth to my first baby, my 10th baby, Nazir, who is now about to be 2 years old next month.
Is he 20? He's 20-something months.
Right. Well, he'll be 24 months
Yeah.
next month. And that journey really inspired me to help other women and families and birthers who are going through this struggle to prevent them from having the same struggles that I had. I felt like I had enough for everybody,
Right.
and I've learned so much during that time, and I accumulated so many resources and connections that I was confident to start a nonprofit after I rested for a year. As you can imagine,
I'm glad you got
tired.
some rest sometime.
Some rest. But I started this nonprofit so I can help other moms and birthers and families find resources for mental health, grants because it's expensive. The financial implications last longer than a pregnancy. I also helped them find doctors and specialists that I couldn't find on my own, even being a registered nurse. I helped them with education. I couldn't imagine coming in not in the healthcare field. I was in the healthcare field and still didn't know a lot of the things that I wish I could have known to advocate for myself. And then we also teach them how to advocate for themselves. So that's A Light After 9. That's my other baby number 11. And I'm so proud of it. And I'm changing lives, and I hope to only change more.
Are there any key partners that you'd like to share in case that might be like nationally available that you'd like to just give a shout out to in case someone's listening in another part of the country and you just want them to know that those things are out there?
Absolutely. So March of Dimes, I really want to shout out Tamara and March of Dimes for the Georgia chapter. She's amazing and and just is so willing to help out any type of way with all things maternal care. I'm in the process of making partnerships with PSI. I just had a conversation last night with Black Women Wellness Center, and I'm working with Doula Bean, and shout out to all the amazing doulas out there. It's such an underused service, especially when it comes to pregnancy loss. And you guys are amazing. So it's so many people I've come across, and I hate that I'm forgetting everybody right now that you asked me.
That's okay.
It's so many people. The Melanin Initiative with Dr. Kim, she's been amazing and connecting me with so many people. So many people. I can't even name everybody.
Well, that's good. So before we get to the $1 billion question, let's go ahead and talk about where can people connect with you if they are a mom or someone who wants to be a mom and wants to be able to learn from you, or if there's someone who wants to partner with you. What's the best way to get in touch with you right now as you get started?
Absolutely. All avenues. You can go to our website, thelightafternoon.org. You can call us. You can DM us on social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can send us a message. You can also send an email to us, and we're very responsive. So any avenue that you want to choose, you can reach out to us. And I wanted to make us very accessible because during a pregnancy journey, you have so much going on. I don't need you to be bottled down with how I'm going to find resources. We're that one-stop shop to help you help yourself.
Yeah, that is awesome. Is there any advice that you would share with someone as far as like, I know somebody who had a miscarriage? What would you say is a good way they could offer support?
That's an amazing question. And I think that is so under discussed and so important, especially like you said, it's such a emotionally volatile and not volatile, but
Well,
labile.
yeah.
And
The
sometimes
emotions
volatile.
can be volatile. They're just up
It
and
can be.
down all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hormones, and it's because it's grief. It's grief. So it's funny. I just had a conversation with the owner of Doula Bean, and she and I will be having a webinar next month talking about this because it's so many times that we were approached incorrectly. And a lot of times it's out of love. Most times it's
Yeah.
out of love and caring and concern. But as the victim, so to speak, you kind of have to just, eat that and just be like, okay, well, justify it, but it still hurts. So there are things that you can do. One, if you're a partner, especially, partners are such a big part of the birthing process, especially during loss, but especially during a healthy birth. You're dependent upon. You're there. You're the rock. And it's a lot. Get mental health resources. Reach out to therapists and counselors and talk to somebody and go through those emotions as well. Because you can address other people's emotions and things they're going through if you don't address your own.
Rachell, if you were given a grant, and I know nonprofits are always applying for grants, right?
Yes. Our favorite thing to do
Yeah, right?
is give funding.
Your new favorite hobby.
Yes.
If you were given a grant for $1 billion, how would you like to see that used to strategically meet the needs that you see to have the most sustainable impact?
So with that $1 billion, one, I would address the maternal health deserts. So the care has to be widespread for maternal health. We need comprehensive maternal health centers, especially in underserved rural areas. So if you have a mom or birther who has to travel 2 hours and they have a high risk pregnancy, they may not make it, them or the baby. That's unacceptable. We need to have maternal health comprehensive centers near everybody who is giving birth. That should be a gift. You should be able to have access to care. And then we want to make sure we're training these providers in rural areas and in these underserved communities on high risk pregnancies and how to care for them and have the appropriate specialties. So reproductive endocrinologists, geneticists, maternal fetal specialists, all of them should be available. So with that, we have to fund education, right? It's not cheap. So making sure we have enough healthcare professionals, nurses and doctors, radiologists, all of it. We have to make sure that we're aiding in that fund. I do want to also start a birth fund, whether it's to fund education, fund mental health resources, so counseling sessions, because we know that it takes a mental toll on everybody involved. Mom, birther, support system, everybody. And it's not cheap. We want to help pay for medical bills. We want to help pay for babies' needs if, they can't afford it. And then I also want to make sure we have enough funding for a decent amount of time off of work. Why are we going back to work after 3 months? The risk for hemorrhage is 6 months to a year.
3 months would be the luxurious end, wouldn't you say? The 12 weeks? Don't we both know a whole lot of people who go back to work after 6 or 8 weeks?
Oh, I know 2 weeks. I know people that went 2 weeks.
Well, for sure. But I would say, there are so many that you would think that they would have benefits that would at least cover up to 12 weeks, but it requires you to take vacation time. And if you had to use any of that vacation time in the preparation for birth process, then you don't have it.
Right.
Or it has to be used for the first 2 weeks of your leave, and then you have none after that. So
and then that's it. And what if you don't have that? What if you're like me, who had to be on bed rest for most of the pregnancy, and then my pregnancy leave starts? How am I going to support myself? How am I going to eat? How am I going to feed my family? There's so many issues that comes along with a lack of funding for time off. And then even if you as the birther gets time off, what about your partner? I can't do this alone. God forbid I have, postpartum depression or eclampsia, or any issues after the birth, and I'm in the hospital. My partner doesn't even have time off, or if they do, it's a couple of weeks. It's just unfair, unjust, and unsafe. So
I'm saying, can someone develop this form that will fill itself out from the patient's record? Let's use some AI to make this process efficient, because we don't need this person who's already so stressed by being pregnant and whether or not they have complications.
Yes.
Having all this rigmarole about how to fill out their FMLA paperwork that's only going to do their job and not even get them paid.
Right. That is such a good point. We have so much technology. I went to the doctor said this. He said or she said that I shouldn't be at work. It's not safe. Extract the information. It's already there. Already had the visit.
But not all FMLA paperwork is the same, and it's not standardized. I really wish it was, then it would be faster to fill it out if they all at least look the same.
Right.
You know where the lines are to fill out.
Right.
Instead of having to figure it out like a puzzle every time.
Right. It should be much easier, for us to not only get the care that we need, but to take the time off to have a safe journey, as safe as possible. We shouldn't be fighting after we get a diagnosis, like potential threat of miscarriage,
And miscarriage is dangerous. Let's just revisit the fact that most, pregnancy and giving birth is one of the most dangerous things that a woman can do for her own safety. I'm just a full transparency. I had to repeat the pediatrics and OBs semester of nursing school because I didn't pass by 1 point the first time. So I had to learn a second time all over again, every way you can die in childbirth or due to a complication during pregnancy, which did not make my next pregnancy very stress-free. But, but it just goes to show, we have to take safety seriously in order to protect mothers during pregnancy, to prevent those complications, or at least recognize them when they're happening so that they can have a good recovery.
Right. I 100% agree. The last portion of the money, I would definitely use it And I was just thinking about this today. We're so advanced, our technology is so advanced, but we need to have a monitoring system at home where we can identify certain risks, preeclampsia, possible bleeding risk, issues with the placenta, issues with kicking, like if the baby isn't moving at a certain time. We need to be able to identify these risks and have a centralized station, whether it's at the local hospital or clinic, for somebody to monitor these things so we could immediately address them and save women, also save babies as well.
Are you aware of any like digital therapeutics companies that are already offering this service, like even on a small scale?
I haven't. I know there are some companies who just offer general vital sign, blood sugar, glucose type monitoring systems that their doctors can also monitor. I haven't heard of those that could monitor maternal health issues or maternal trauma issues. Not to say they aren't out there. I just don't know.
If they are, though, they need to reach out to you, right,
Yes,
Rachell?
please reach out to me. I would love to collaborate and
Because she
partner.
wants to know you.
Yes, yes. This is a game changer.
That's right. That would be incredible if it's already out there and just needs to be scaled up.
Yeah.
The more we get together, the happier we'll be.
Yes, networking. Network.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your vision with us. Thank you so much for using your journey to help others. And while you are celebrating your own success with your 10th baby. So I hope that you have a wonderful, successful time building this nonprofit and are
Thank
able
you.
to pay it forward to all these other moms out there and partners
Absolutely.
of all kinds.
Thank you so much, Rosa. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your experience. It's not easy to talk about at all. So I really want to thank you for your vulnerability and sharing that.
Well,
It takes a
you
lot.
too. Well, and building, yeah, and you built a nonprofit around your own.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the least I can do is share mine once, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for putting yourself out there. You're a treasure and a blessing. And
Thank you.
remember, if you want to get connected, go to alightafter9.org or follow her on social media. I'll put it in the show notes so you can just click to connect